Welcome, welcome, welcome. You all caught me stopping myself from saying the last line of that. But welcome back to It Make Sense JXN. I'm your host, Tariq Abdul-Tawwab, along with my co-host,
Keanu Perry,
a.k.a. KP, a.k.a. Young Man. So when you hear me say Young Man or KP, that's who I'm speaking with. We'll leave it there for now. You had to be an earlier listener to know what the second half of that was. But welcome back, Jackson. As I always start out with, I hope everybody had a peaceful evening. I hope everybody that left out came back home. And I hope everybody had enough to eat last night. I hate to have to add that on to it, KP, but it's a new concern that I just want to make sure gets out there. But how was your evening, man?
My evening.
I
know I'm good. I can't say nothing.
You know what I appreciate about KP? If you all, I wish you all would sit here with us, is that KP is going to actually think about the question and give you a well thought out answer. I'm well trained in telling you the day's going great. In my day, my 4-year-old just took me through a run through the whole park and then upside down. KP will think about it and give you the truth, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Too many of us are just like, man, we're doing great, man. The day's going well. Everything's falling apart.
Fine.
Yep.
I'm gonna let you know for real. That might become still young.
Minute to minute.
Well, hopefully you keep it. Yeah, to the point where you don't ever let the pace of the world force you to dictate yourself to it. Because this world is. Someone said that once when people say, "Hey, how you doing?" 99% of the time, we say, "We could have just lost our mother." The week my mother died, I responded, "I'm doing good." To most people that ask me how they're doing. So it's just, I think it's built into us to just say, "Fine." It's refreshing to hear you stop and be like, "Well." And I just be hanging on, D, like, which way's gonna go here?
Right.
But it's going well enough, right?
Hey, if you see me, y'all on the live, you see me looking at my phone because my laptop is very slow. So I cannot look at the articles on my laptop. That's why it's closed now.
Do like my niece is doing, drop your cash app. The young people that come in, drop their cash app, or you're in a heartbeat. Well, I need this, here's my cash app. Oh, we didn't even do the discussion part. But no, your KP is always paying attention. Sometimes I guess you can pay too much attention. You'll be locked into finding more things out on a subject that are affecting the people. So, but I hope overall the people appreciate that, because there's so many other things that you can be doing with your time and with your life. I appreciate that you feel like your people are worth it.
Yeah, always.
He doesn't get paid for this show, in case you didn't know. So some young people will push back, but KP has dug in.
Nah, I ain't not for that money. I mean, it's probably off something I believe. I think I'm up for a chick, man.
And you know what's so crazy, KB? I think a lot of people are willing to go without a check. I mean, I said that wrong. People need to feed their families. A lot of people are not in it for the money. I think the people that are in it for the money, unfortunately, just hold all the power. So it looks like something is not, if that makes sense. I think a lot of us are willing to say, I'm willing. When we dealt with the storms, we were giving out food and we were giving out water, and you saw how people started to react, right? Here in Mississippi, they were stepping up and they were being selfless. So there's a lot of selfless people in Mississippi. It's not a lot of selfless power in Mississippi.
There you go.
Selfless people.
Yeah, there's a lot of selfless people. They just don't hold the power. So Mississippi does not have a lot of selfless power in our communities.
Well, it's not about that power. It's not a lot of me's.
There are a lot of yous. There are just not a lot of yous that understand their power.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You understand your power. Can't anybody give you power. You understand your power, so therefore you're using it, sharpening it, making it better. There are a lot of young people that are sharpening it, making it better. And when you talk about my son can I talk about it? Yeah, I can. My son just crossed over. I got kicked out of every conversation surrounding that because I don't know how to keep my mouth shut, apparently. So I found out about it I got my wife's. She also, she's in the sister sorority, so she knew everything, y'all. So my middle son, he's a college student. He crossed over. He's alpha. He's I don't know how to be quiet, so I'll be in the middle of County Line Road yelling out stuff like, "So what are y'all doing? Y'all gonna be in the woods chasing each other?" And so I knew nothing about it until the end, until the details. But
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
you made a lot of trouble for him.
I did definitely. I just, you know what? Sometimes you just have to accept as the pops. Maybe maybe it's just better that I'm left out, because my judgmental, the way I judge a lot of things about me as a father, were better there. My son might have not liked me after that, so I said, you know what, let me leave him alone, let him do his thing, and they come back around, and it was a wonderful. It was my first actual. What do you call it? When everyone crosses over. So at the school, someone call in and tell me it's crossing over. I know is what it's called. But it's when anyone whether it's Delta, aka Alpha, Sigma, it's one day at the school where all of the different fraternities and sororities accept who's going to be accepted into that fraternity or sorority. And so I got the experience, and I was at Tougaloo. I got the experience, my first one, where I was able to watch that happening and taking place, and it was an amazing experience. I actually said with some of the young men that we work with, I said I want to redirect the first field trip we take, and I actually want to take them there, because a lot of you listening know well about it, but you have all the different fraternities that come on the floor at the end, and they're all doing they're strolling, doing their different line dance, or I'm going careful so I don't get in trouble with my son. The way I say it, the little dance, say it the wrong way or something. But I'm an old man, y'all, so forgive me. But yeah, they're all together, so it's like a mob of all of these people on the floor, and each group is doing their own thing. And it's amazing that I've never seen that on the news. You know me, where my mind goes. I mean, you can show us a mob of young black men and young black women. That's right. If you just jumped onto the show, I'm always on this, y'all. But you can show us a mob of young black men and young black women fighting any day in a parking lot, in the street, every single day. But this is happening across the United States now, by the way. Mm-hmm. It's not just here in Jackson. Across the U.S., chapters are having this ceremony where folks are crossing over. Why is that not lighting up? Why is that not on every news station? We're in all black city. Why is that not on the news the same way every single violent act is? And there's a lot. Some fraternities will only have 2 or 3 people crossing over in that moment. Some will have 15. They're going through sometimes 30, 40-minute presentations. They were there for a Logitech. They were home at a certain point, and they were there for a long time. But the coverage, I said, this is amazing. So it was beautiful. It was good. We got to go. Yeah, it was. I didn't think I was going to make it because of my daughter. Yeah. But someone's going to call us in 601-948-5950. They were. Yes, they were. I had my own reason to KP, but yes, it's a wonderful place for a young man. Absolutely. But 601-948-5950. If you know more about what I just watched, call in and let the people know. But it's funny because you have different sides of everything. You get what I mean? So you have I'm watching young men there that are being surrounded by support, right? Being surrounded, and it makes you feel wonderful inside. Being surrounded by a brotherhood. And then you see all of these steps they have to go through, and then you realize they're going to be good for the remainder of their life, most likely, because that network is going to be so deep that there's always going to be someone that they consider a brother, and that was a beautiful thing, period, point blank. For me, I always cry for those that don't have it, so it just makes me even highlight more that maybe, and then we're going to jump to news, just maybe brotherhood is better than anything for a first step. And as a community, we have to ask ourselves, what is the motivation for you telling a young man or a young woman to stop being in a gang and to come join you when the gang that you're dumping on was an actual response to something that the adults couldn't control, which was police brutality? So how do you kind of work through that when you have something that was termed a gang by the authorities, but that grew out of a need to protect ourselves from the police because the adults in our community we're all helpless, right? You got to think about that sometimes as it goes backwards. What did something start as? And that's why we talk so much about who's not taking care of our children and who is taking care of our children. That's why yesterday you all saw me take time to talk about the conversation our Mayor Horn had with Grant Callen from Empower Mississippi, because of how much Grant Callen pushes for policies that don't take care of our children. But then I turn around and I go through Southwest and other parts of Jackson, and I don't even see a basketball hoop for my children to play on. So I'm the type of person, and that's why I say, it turns people off. I'm the type of person that goes and sees that crossover and I get pissed off. I love it for those young men that were part of that. But I left there very happy and very angry. Happy that my son and these other young men and young women had access to this type of support, but angry that in a 90% plus black city, the rest of our children are getting no apparent help other than being allowed to work younger than the legal age. So it's good and bad. I hope I didn't take y'all down the drain hole. It was a wonderful experience. These are a lot, but I hope to all of you, and I don't have a lot of young listeners, but if you just crossed over, if you just started a school, if you just started an endeavor, please remember that ultimately your responsibility is to the origins of whatever it is that you've joined, right? And that's why I talked about the things that are termed gangs today. You have a lot of groups out of Chicago that were literally born out of a resistance of having the living daylights beat out of you every single day, and there being nothing that you could do about it, right? So whatever you have joined, whatever you align with, make sure that because some of these groups started in 1906, make sure that you are staying true to the origins and the intent of the way it was created, not to the way it's necessarily being carried out. And that goes to my youth that are looking to be politicians as well. Definitely don't follow the way these politicians are leading. Follow the way it should be done. That's a good quick KP. On that note, yeah, man, let's move into the news.
All right, Mississippi Free Press. Let's see here.
I mean, unless you have any more thoughts on it. I know a lot of times you have some other thoughts just sitting there. Feel free to.
Man, I'm trying to concentrate on what you were saying.
Yeah. No, KP and I talked about a lot of these ideas before the show ever hit, so we'll be deep in thought on Zoom, sharing screens, looking at things together. But what was that first story? I know that you have a lot today.
Jackson water rate increase decision could come Thursday. Jackson residents could find out Thursday whether they'll be paying more for water bills. A federal judge is set to make a decision about whether to allow Jackson Water to raise utility rates again in Mississippi's capital city. U.S. District Judge Henry T. Wingate called a November emergency court hearing after the city of Jackson Water's utility company released its September 30th quarterly report outlining the interim third-party manager Ted Hennessey's intent to implement a 12% rate increase.
Sheesh.
The report projects the agency would notify customers of the change by November 15th, with the rate increase going into effect in effect no later than December 15th. But that depends on what the judge says. That Wingate, what you call him,
Reagan appointee, yes. Yeah. I mean, from what I've understood from all of the math that I'm doing, it looks like it's between $9 to $11 per month is what they're stating the increase will look like. And really, you know what? What do the people think about that? You know, I mean, you can tell us 601-948-3950. That is not a 3. 5950. Or we have and in case people are going to talk about it, but we have a form that we have on our Facebook page, It Make Sense JXN, where you can fill it out and you can discuss if you're not getting assistance, and you follow the steps that you're supposed to follow. Because ultimately, guys, it's going to take the citizens of Jackson to speak up. This is kind of, we've been down this trail before, KP and I, and the community and activists and nonprofit. We've been here. So, if the rest of the folks are just fine with that rate going up, then at a certain point, then maybe.
I mean, my thing about it is, Jackson Water, that's a water company, right? So, is it their job to talk about stuff like the weather? Like, how it's freezing now, right? So, that could affect the pipes. Do they have to mention that in their commercials? Or that's something they have to do, or it's not,
I mean, it was something you would think they would. Yeah, absolutely. You're not off there at all because the weather affects the pipes, affects our water. Absolutely.
So I'm saying, if our pipes were to get frozen right now, and we were not able to receive any water through the pipes because there is a warning for freezing weather coming up. You get what I'm coming from?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would that still be in effect? Like, would that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. What were you about to say, Dean?
I was just saying, they're gonna
absolutely
charge you regardless.
One of my concerns with a lot of utility companies in Mississippi, especially when you talk about Jackson Water, one of my concerns is that when the postings go on next door, you just don't have everybody to me. Now more folks are now. We've been pushing people, but if everybody is not involved in next door, signed up for next door, live in the exact neighborhood that they can get in, or then they're not getting all of the alerts. Is what the complaints from the citizens have been, and that's been very strong. So we've got to say that.
Why would they choose Nextdoor as a platform for public?
I just feel like that's where their target audience is, which isn't the African American community.
Like Jackson,
of South and West Jackson. I mean, it's just to be honest. And guys, you all know Make It Make Sense. If you just jumped on, my only job is to be truthful and to try to get as much facts out as possible. So my only thing would be that certain people don't. I would say that certain people don't necessarily jump on Nextdoor. I only got on Nextdoor, to be very honest, because someone told me the boil of water alerts were showing on Nextdoor. So I jumped on to see if there were boil of water alerts. Otherwise, that's not, I get little alerts to it, but I don't, I don't spend a lot of time on it. And a lot of my friends don't either.
No. There are more people who are on Facebook than Nextdoor. And people who are on Facebook and Nextdoor than just next door. So it just seems odd to me. It just seems odd. That's all.
I think it's, and tell us what you think. 601-948-5950. And I want to ask you your thoughts because we don't have things to talk about. I've got plenty to talk about, but a lot of times we like to balance it, right? I mean, because we're the type of people that take every call. We want to hear other aspects.
Yeah, we don't know everything.
We definitely don't want to feel like this is the only way. However, the information we're giving you is based off of facts and what we see, not off of our feelings. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes we don't like to speak the clear part, right? So the clear part is, why would it go on next door, and who predominantly is on next door? Well, all you have to do is go on next door and see the folks responding, because next door shows you the communities from which they're responding. And you can see whether it's Little Europe, whether it's Fondren. You see some communities dominate the responses. Fondren, Little Europe, there's nothing wrong with you being on next door. Just FYI. We're just talking about that you have access and you are there. So why would a utility company, any utility company, or any social media person that wants to reach the entire city go through an avenue where we know for a fact the majority of that city is not on? That's a strong thing, because when you're seeing the Fondrens, Little Europes, North Jackson, when that's all you see consistently, not like nothing else is on there, right? But when you consistently see that, then it makes you clear, okay, well, at a certain point, and this is what I think, KP, you're saying, and you correct me if I'm wrong, at a certain point, wouldn't the folks putting it out say, this is clearly not getting everybody? If at next door you can look and see the communities responding, at what point and look, this is coming from me, from my job, going into my, because when you deal with telecommunications, social media was big even when I was with Far. You got to look at that. So that's how you sometimes gauge how well a product was doing. You would post something about HBO, for example, then go and look at the responses. So when the utility company is posting on Nextdoor, they also should be, and they probably are, looking at the responses to see what communities they're reaching. Well, when you see all of one community responding in there and 75% of the city missing, why are you not then going out and, the same reason with Citizens. You remember last show, a citizen called in and said it looks like Jackson Water has a commercial arrangement with WLBT.
They do.
Which I looked at it and I agree with them. Some things in Mississippi, you have to understand, aren't illegal. If you don't notice them and put them in the equation of what you think happened at the end, then you're useless. Because they're not illegal. It's like it's not illegal for a contractor to give millions of dollars to a senator, as long as the senator doesn't get money. The contractor can actually give the senator $5 million, get lucrative deals through that makes that person $30 million, and as long as the senator didn't get rich, it's totally legal. You can pay to play. So but understanding that, I'm not sitting up here trying to change.
It's unethical, but it's not.
With this, yeah, I mean, Mississippi, yes, that was a strong comment I was going to make. And it's a very true comment. It's just unnecessary, but you're absolutely right. Very unethical. But KP, I think you're hitting it on the head there. I think you brought up a point. So you're talking about the way that people are being treated, our experience now, right? What am I experiencing as a user of my water here in Jackson, Mississippi? And you're 100% correct. I'm experiencing, if I'm not on Nextdoor, then sometimes I just don't know. I'm seeing the fact that I don't have a sewer charge on my bill as we bought it yesterday, and now we're wondering, well, where is that charge at, and what is it going to do to me? I had to pay a bill that was over $7,000, right? And it takes a lot of time and a lot of sacrifices. Schools that can't be gone to, cars that can't be fixed, down to one car because of it. Yep. But you got to weigh, when you got a house full of people, what is it going to be? So now, one of the reasons, and let the audience know that I come in here a little later now, is because we're down to one car, and you had to make certain decisions. You've got to make certain decisions, and God will provide. That's not the problem. As long as you don't steal from the people, I promise you everything will be okay. You can steal from the people for 30 years and it's not okay. I guarantee you your day will come. And when it does, it's going to be everything that you deserve. Because taking from the next person to make sure you have more is the one way that civilization is ended. That's the anti-civilization right there.
You said it's ending that way.
That's the way civilization ends, by one taking more than he needs so that while the other starves. That's what you see happening in the city that is ranked number 8 in black millionaires, right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Let that speak for itself.
Yep. You call in 601-948-5950. See what y'all think about it. Because that's something to talk about. But
yeah.
Back to what I was saying about this cold weather. There's actually an article about it. I just wanted to go ahead and address that before I talk about the article. The article is called First Alert Weather Day, Freezing Start to Your Day. Jackson, Mississippi, this morning marks our first major freeze of the season, with temperatures dipping well below 32 Fahrenheit Central Mississippi is waking up to widespread lows in the 20s. So bundle up for a frosty start. The winter chill won't stick around for long though. Afternoon highs will rebound into the upper 50s, low 60s. By tomorrow, we'll be back in the upper 70s. This was on November 11th.
No, that's a good one for you to call coming in, KP. But no, you're questioning if that's coming in. If we're getting, no, I said I thought a call was coming in. But you're saying if they're announcing freezing conditions,
then Jackson Water should.
Then how is that going to affect our pipes? No, I think that's a very good point, KP.
Want to make it make sense? Call you on there.
Hi, I want to know how are we charged for water we can't use? And
That's a good question.
With a water availability fee, an extra water availability fee.
how are we charged for water we can't use? If the water has a boil water notice, if we have ice, cold, whatever, and our pipes are froze, we can't get water, why are we still charged for that?
No, I think that that's it. We shouldn't be, first off. So I think that, and you sound like somebody in our community that's involved, but with me, I refuse to start now. I've got to start where it was. Groups said that. Not only did they say that, the ACLU felt enough of what you just said to jump in with the Poor People's Campaign. These are these groups that get talked bad about. These are these groups they call troublemakers when they try to find out the same thing you're asking. People's Advocacy Institute, they tried to sue them advocating for greater transparency and community involvement in the system's management. Judge Wingate called them racist for the questions you're asking right now. They demanded more transparency from the third-party manager, and they requested resources to be used more equitably, like funding local contracts, and this is your part, and ensuring water quality is safe to drink while being affordable. And they were called racist. So the reason we're paying for the service, one of the reasons I have to say like it, is because the city didn't stand up. Now, we've still got to take another step, but that's why we're still there. When there was a chance for the city to rally behind a movement, everybody instead kind of ignored it. And that's what got us here. So what can we do different is probably the best question.
So, in other words, I am charged for the availability of water at night.
That's right.
Even though I don't use it.
That's right. Even though it comes out brown sometimes.
I don't use it or can't use it, I'm still charged with the fact that I have to pay that.
That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, as I heard, we don't make up water. Water is free from rain.
No, it's not.
So I don't
No, it's not at all. Water is used to not only control us, but water makes some of the best money out. Look, just think, we pay a water availability fee. That's not even your bill. You know how much the company makes off of a water availability fee? Water is the furthest thing from free because all they have to do is drop something in it to make it bad and you'll pay me for it.
Well, if my water been bad all along, and I still got to pay for it,
Yep.
that means that they owe me because they're a liability to not only me, but the rest of my family members' health.
That's right. Are we going to trust them? Or do we need to think about that next time the community groups from Jackson say, we got a problem, y'all. Let's go ask, demand, do whatever we've got to do to shut this down and get some transparency. It's going to come back around. That lawsuit will come back around to protect you as a Jacksonian. The question is, how many people will sign it? And how many people will allow a Reagan-appointed judge to call Dr. Martin Luther King's organization at the time of his death racist for asking the same questions you just asked? So we've got to stand up. We've got to demand what you're saying. Transparency and the right to clean, affordable water. And when we demanded it in this city, unfortunately 15 people were at the court case. So as far as the judge is concerned, I hope you were one of them, but you and 14 other people were all the only ones that cared about transparency at that time. The rest were drinking the Kool-Aid.
For no reason, and come to find out, it's because of the water I've been drinking here in the city of Jackson that have caused all these problems
That's right.
with my health.
That's right. Yeah, this is like a commercial for why we need to back those that tried to save the city before this happened. And this is factual now. So thank you, and I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. We're going to keep talking about ways we can do that. Anything that you want to say before we close out?
No, I want you to expunge on that.
Okay.
And that a lot of people know that, your health, ulcerative colitis is one of the things that can cause those problems from drinking bad water.
Yes. No. Absolutely. What were you going to say?
I was just gonna say also.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling and thank you for listening. We appreciate you. We're going to talk a little more about it, like you said. What were you saying?
I was just saying also lead in water causes violence.
Lead in water causes violence. Yeah, absolutely. And to the sister that was just speaking, and we appreciate you, highlighting, expunging would be highlighting what she's talking about in an umbrella way. Gastrointestinal issues, developmental delays, organ damage, and even cancer have all been proven to come from what's in our water. And that's just an umbrella. There's a lot more that the activists out there would say, hold on, you missed a lot. And I did, right? But just from an umbrella view, all of those things, when you talk about organ damage, and I think that's what this sister was alluding to, gastrointestinal issues, those are things that will break you down inside, and people actually die from a lot of this, especially cancer.
I didn't know about the gastrointestinal.
Gastrointestinal, and I kept messing that up yet. But a lot of us, KP and I often suffer from heartburn together. That's why we look at each other. And he's thinking, having lived and grown up drinking the water, right? How much of an effect does that have to have on, a lot of times my baby say I'm itching when she comes out of a bath. It'll be no bath for a while. We go to showers. I think that there's a lot that that we're at danger of, and that's in our water here in Jackson. We're not even talking about the rest of Mississippi, where you start talking about forever chemicals in their water. Yep. So again, I made it very clear to those of you that are listening from a place of power. Mississippi loves to discuss Jackson's water because it's the best of the worst evils, right?
So this remember the wastewater. He didn't mention about the wastewater as not being charged for that. Remember? Yeah. Remember we was talking about how the city council also didn't bring that up.
Absolutely. And you're very, very good point to spin the block with that one. Sorry, I use the young people stuff.
Make sense.
Hello?
Welcome to Make It Make Sense. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing
a
excellent.
Listener.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate y'all program. Thanks for coming on Mondays. I wish I could come 5 days a week. But honestly, I'm a diabetic patient. I mean, I'm that too, but I'm a dialysis patient, sir. I just got a notice that they saying I owe $4,000 on a water bill. I got one sink that work up in here. One puppy. And they said you can put $1,000 down. And other than that, when they sit on a final notice, they are not water after the disconnect.
This is extortion at this point.
So, well, twofold. I'm going to talk about that. I can see you on there. If you're okay with me following up with you, there's steps that we can take because if you have a past due, let's just and listeners understand what the call is saying, and you correct me if I'm wrong. You have a past due amount that's in dispute. You're saying I don't know that, and I don't know how it got that high. Is that correct?
Exactly. When they did that switch out or whatever they did, whoever. They did. My bill used to be $100 every other month.
So let me stop you right there for a moment. Let me stop you, and you're helping me. Listen, I want.
We can talk off air.
No, okay, but no, stay with me for 1 second because you're saying some great things. Because you're talking to my audience. When she just said, and then I want her to repeat after the switchover what it went to. When she's saying switchover, what she's referencing is when a new meter went up. Now understand very quickly, the issue with Siemens was their deal was supposed to be to the residents. They were supposed to build everything out and then connect the meter to the system downtown where you could gauge what the reading was. They didn't do that final part. So when this young lady says the switchover, that means up until that point, there was no way of knowing how much water she used. So after that switchover, what happened?
And then the bill started paying, like they said, it starts paying $100 a month. And I asked the lady that worked there, and she was like, "Well, we estimated." I said, "I don't estimate, lady. It's only me in this house, and I don't even be here like that. Like this before I got dialysis." But I'm just in on the second, they ripping people off. Ain't no way I'm gonna spend the next 15 days trying to come up with $1,000 when ain't even 50 cents worth of water coming out here. And I've been buying water for the last 10 years. I'm from California, Las Vegas, but I own a house out here in Georgetown. Kenny Stokes been warning us, but this is not right, sir. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional. This is not right, you know?
No, I agree with you 100%. And I think that when we talk about Mr. Stokes and the rest of his peers, on top of that, we've got to ask, and we've got to ask them. Now, this is, we're a community. We've got to ask, why are we not pressing to get this information out? Because I agree with you 100%. We've got to do something different because our you can't afford $1,000 out of nowhere.
No, I don't.
I couldn't afford $1,000. I'm working.
$3 to get on J-Trip, but the thing is with Kenny Stokes, he in my ward, and he has been saying, oh, it's a meeting at the church, but sir, I'm blind when I don't even drive anymore. It's hard to get around here. You know, I barely get the bus to go to dialysis. I mean, people got hardships. You know, I'm not trying to complain.
You are not complaining.
But I know y'all really, serious about the community, and
That's right.
we need somebody to help us.
That's right.
They came out here a year ago, some company called Promise. I got 2 rides and rushed over there, and they talking about they were giving out some water. We gonna fix the deal. They ain't do nothing, and then the number don't even work no more. It's just sad. They don't. Like I say, I'm from California, native, born and raised, but this is not right. You know, my grandparents born and raised here and stuff, and my granddaddy, he would flip over in his grave, what this is going on. This is just not right. And I hope for somebody, anybody, to try to help us. They talking about Warren Martin, talking about lawsuits, this and that, call this and that. These people say this and that, but they ain't helping nobody. And anyway, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate y'all. And y'all call me back offline.
Okay, I got all your information. Now I'll call you back offline. We definitely.
Thomas. My name is Monica Thomas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. I'm glad you said that because I saw a different name, but we will. And I got everything on it, Ms. Thomas. We've got we've got plenty of avenues to determine what your best option is. So we'll talk to you offline.
This is worse than student loans because student loans you don't owe this.
Yeah, this is we got to understand, and thankfully we have a chance, and thankfully because I come from the utility company. You have to understand, utilities are your telephone, your water, your gas. There's certain rules that go. That's why you have a public service commission. I don't care if it's here, D.C., Massachusetts. That's why you have a federal oversight of it, right? Just like the federal FCC, Federal Communications Commission, right? So we all operate under certain things. My team, we're essential employees. That means if that phone line get cut during a purge, we got a problem. Folks can't call 911. That's my background and professional expertise in explaining this to you. So, now, if you called us and you said, I dispute that you say I watched 38 pay-per-view movies, legally, once you dispute that, I don't care what state you're in, I'm supposed to hold that amount and then do whatever that state public service commission asked me to do to research that customer's claim. I set what's called a claim on it, which means that money's still there. So the woman had $4,000, that $4,000 still showing your account, but you have a claim opened saying you need to prove how you got there. Now, you know what we do? We then look through your remote at that point. We look to see when you ordered it. We look to see if it sent everything through. We look to see if every single step clicked, and we say, here we go, ma'am or sir. This shows you ordered that pay-per-view. You showed that on that movie you shouldn't have ordered it. Now your wife saw it. You telling us you didn't order it. It shows it right there. So what this woman is asking is, show me the gauge or the meter that determined how you said my bill is $4,000. Well, pause. We know that can't be done because Siemens never connected it. Instead, they try to get the city of Jackson text, and I know this. Thankfully, you got folks that know what they're talking about. Instead, what they did was try to get the city of Jackson text to agree to go ahead and finish completing it. And I don't care what the city of Jackson agreed to. Siemens knew that they didn't know how to connect those meters. So you have to be trained to do that. They knew very well they didn't know how to do it. But they'll walk up to a person, a stranger, and say, hey, can you do this arithmetic problem? And then say, I know for a fact it's going to be done. So that's why it never connected. So that's where the estimate came from, which is the only thing you can do is estimate a bill, right? But for you to have a past due, she's not even talking about being estimated at $100 a month. She's saying as one person, I know I didn't use that much, but that's not what she's talking about. She's talking about this $4,000 bulk bill sitting there that's going to cause her service to be cut off. And if she's renting, guess what? That's gentrification. Pebble. Message.
It's coming.
We get right to what it is. Blossom, 100 people, 100 families, gone. Did nothing wrong.
Push them out.
Pushed them out. Now, how do you, individual houses? Yeah, I got a pass-through water bill that I don't know where it came from.
And this is what we gonna bring it to you, man. We already see that, you know, we see the.
But in a city where you got you rank number 8, I'm sorry, kid, when you rank number 8 in terms of millionaires, you would think all those millionaires would just help those people with those past due bills. But instead, what I hear them talking about is the fact that these people don't pay their bill. I hear black folks saying that, and these people don't pay their bill. You're gonna pay a $4,000 bill.
You know, $340 bill out.
That's the problem. Leadership is gone.
Not even just the, you know, them not being able to pay the bill. Don't they go on their credit? They go on their credit too, right? Don't they?
Absolutely. But I mean,
it's just, it's a bunch of stuff just piled up. But like I was saying,
I get what you're saying. It goes in the credit, which just makes it harder for them to do anything to respond to it. Talk about that a little more. But I think that it's important that you talk about that. That when you push down on the poor or those without, all you do is compound and build more problems.
Exactly.
So I put a bill on you. Okay, when we were out at Blossom Apartments, for example, there was a young lady that was asking for help, and we were like, well, how can we help? And she was like, I can't get into another apartment because I have a past due electric bill.
And then when you get approved, when you try to get approved for a new apartment, they look at your credit.
Absolutely. And some may say, well, why does she have the past due bill? Instead of saying, why was she kicked out without any notice out of her apartment when she didn't do anything wrong?
So you just drawing down on every inch.
Yes. And those rich black folk are doing the same thing because they know that these sisters and brothers don't have a chance in the world. Instead of talking about how wild the kids are, but when you talk about the children over and over again, you don't have to pay attention to the fact that you've been leading. And we don't have anything to show for it. Red herring.
Red herring.
Red herring. Learn that. Please. Not you. Yeah, I'm talking about, it gets done to us here more than anywhere, I think, in the world.
It's a heirloom also.
But we got to go through those difficult conversations. I'm going to call this resident. We're going to figure out what we can do for her. And what I want from her when we talk, and not from her, I'm not going to use her because she called in, but I want from people in every ward, find out why your councilman is not bringing that up. You had it, and you had somebody in office that fought for all these things.
Yep.
And a lot of these voices we hear now weren't the loudest voices when he was being pushed out of office. And instead of thinking, if we're going to replace our mayor, which is fine, let's replace him with someone that's going to give us these same protections. We brought in somebody that's just let loose the gates on us. And when I say that, I'm talking about that.
He worrying about downtown.
No, I mean, yes.
More than he worrying about y'all. He worrying about giving Prado a new building. What was more funds for his building.
Yeah,
1.25 million taxes.
Of your tax dollars.
That's our tax. I think
Of your tax dollars.
I don't think. I think that we're so used to the money not coming under the previous administration because we wouldn't give away the house to flowing.
It's just money sitting there. It's just money sitting there that can be used, man. Come on, bro. Y'all know what's up. And I'm trying to tap into my, Jacksonian mode, but that's just messed up, bro. You got her. She got emotional and everything. You hear her pleading, crying, like, and she ain't the only one.
No. It's plenty more. But see, we can't suffer in silence. We got to suffer together.
Suffer out loud.
We got to suffer out loud and
right.
together until we make enough noise to change something. But everybody want to hold their bills to themselves because they embarrassed about it or whatever.
That's right.
But it's bull.
Yeah,
that's what they want you to do.
That's what they want you to do. Let me tell you, when I studied, I got 3 daughters. When I studied protecting your daughters, and I found out that the key way that folks molest, abuse, and hurt people is by just leaning on the fact that you're not going to say anything. And that's why you all hear me use that term so much, because it's what's being done in a figurative way to us. They don't want you to know that you got a bill that can't be paid, so instead you just move out of that house.
Quietly.
You know what, I'm going to Byron. There ain't nothing here anyways. No, it's that they done ran up a bill you don't know.
Exactly.
And that money, it's going to follow you to Byron anyway.
It's going to follow you to Byron. So I think that, listen to what this young lady said, this sister said. She's dealing with blind in one eye, dealing with dialysis. Had a $4,000 bill in California, help. D.C., we got to help each other. The same way we meet with folks in D.C. and talk about community and building and growing. D.C., we need your help as well, especially those in the legislative process. $1,000 is what you tell a woman on dialysis?
For water.
In D.C., you couldn't even cut her off.
For water.
I'm sorry, that's when you're emotional. You can't even cut her off in most states. If she's blind and on dialysis, in most states, you can't even cut her service off. And they told her $1,000 is the down payment. And she's fighting to make it. What about that one ain't no chance? That ain't no second property. That's what you have to understand. She got the courage to call in because she's still in the fight. Please don't be silly enough to hear her say, well, I got a house there, but she's in the fight. Who you're not hearing from is that person that doesn't have it, and that's the majority of the people.
That's what I was gonna say. She was able to call in.
Yes.
Imagine the ones that can't
Yes.
call.
Yes. Kudos to that sister for calling in.
That's bravery. We appreciate that.
We love you for that. Welcome to Make It Make Sense. Call you on there.
Yeah, one of the problems was that when they installed the meters the first time, those meters was a German model, and they calibrated in liters. But Jackson billing system was in gallons.
We giving you game. Pay attention.
It calibrated in gallons, the billing system. I think that was the main problem was.
I agree. Who was the company? I think that was UMS. I may be wrong. I don't want to, but the meter company.
The meter company.
Yes.
Was the problem because those meters that they installed originally was Jackson had no way of calibrating the billing because it was in liters, and the Jackson billing system was in gallons.
That's right. That's right. Utility Metering Solutions. UMS was the company. Excuse me.
Right.
Absolutely. And then just to give a little background of what he's saying to the audience, they're the ones that were responsible for connecting the meters to the house. Siemens gave that contract to UMS. But carry on, sir, please.
Right. And I think that's why people get a high bill because it wasn't coming out right.
Mm-hmm.
It was no way they could calibrate the bills in liters when the billing system calibrated in gallons.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
So they charge you.
I got another call coming in right behind you, but we appreciate you, my brother. And 100%, I agree with you.
They charging 4 times what you was
The other one dropped off. Call back in. So another right there.
supposed to be billed.
Yeah,
You
you
got
absolutely.
a table with loose legs.
You want.
Oh, welcome to Make It Make Sense. Call you on the air.
Good evening, Mr. KB.
Good evening, sir. How you doing?
All right, I don't know how to pronounce the other gentleman's name. Listen, you guys have.
You can call me Mr. T. I've been called everything, my brother. Mr. T is fine.
Listen, I enjoy your show. You guys are doing an amazing job. I pray that God will continue to bless you all and whatever you put your hands to do. I pray you'll be blessed. This is real good. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you, my brother.
And we love y'all too. Y'all
Yeah, you're. Let me tell you something. Those calls, sir, and I've been and I'll slow it down because I always say Tarek at the beginning of the show, but I have so many variations of my name as my friends know. T, Ty. My family members would call me Turkey, but to this brother, you keep us going because sometimes, believe it or not, you get a lot of pushback that's not what you need. So we appreciate you. But just breaking down what he said real quick, he said there were German models, meters installed. So Jackson's billing system was in gallons; those were being metered in
Liters.
And so that swap right there, my mathematicians, one of y'all call in and tell me what that effect is. I'm talking about it, but you know about it. What is the effect of a German model meter that's measuring in liters and a Jackson billing system that's in gallons? I know what that outlook looks like, but you all need to understand how detrimental that was to our billing.
So it's showing
Welcome to Make It Make
like
Sense. Call you on the air.
3.7 liters
Call you, he
in a gallon.
he or she-
All right, they dropped off. Okay, sorry, caller, we missed you. Call back in if you were trying to
So
get
if
in.
they didn't adjust the units, then you got charged almost 4 times what you were supposed to be charged.
That's what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like. So you have, and that would equal these bills that are coming in.
That would make
Yeah,
more sense.
Yeah. And again, at this point, we're not even. This is not your current Jackson Water. Now we're talking. We're talking about the people being burdened with what someone else did. Let's be clear. I don't care if it's Siemens or because here folks love to pull the glove. Well, that wasn't us. Well, it wasn't the customer. So I mean, yeah, that I think that's very big. And I think we've got to go a little beyond that, right? Though we've got to go a little beyond that now. We knew everything we're talking about. To the brother that called it about the German people, we knew everything about this since the lawsuit came out. If you read, right? Once that lawsuit hit, you knew all of this. If you read, who allowed that to happen in your community? Who was supposed to be your gatekeeper that opened your gates so this could happen? Now it's coming full circle. You got a water availability fee. Your bill's about to increase. You don't know what our water or sewer charges may be from the past however many years we haven't seen.
2 to 3 years.
Downtown's being built up to a point of luxury apartments, which is going to push those surrounding areas out. By push out, I mean the taxes will go up and those folks won't be able to afford it. Some of them aren't even working anymore. Downtown is being bought up. So from downtown to Fodron will be a whole new, you got a midtown popping up that's being paved as if they did something better than the rest of Jackson. Pave a little bit of everybody at a time. We've got charter and voucher laws that are going to yank by Hoseman's account $400 million minimum from the public school system in Mississippi come January. It's November, guys. If you don't think we're in a dire situation, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up.
It's time to wake up. And Jackson has, well, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a Jacksonian to the heart. Jackson has seen worse in my, the 60s, 40s.
We're not even supposed to. Jackson's not supposed to have a population of 80+% black people surviving. You're talking about a city hall that was rebuilt by slaves. You're not supposed. We're not. This is not their capital. Absolutely not. To your point. And see, as we land this plane.
You should have not seen worse.
Yeah, they have. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying African Americans in Mississippi have seen worse. It's a blessing to have a control over the capital city. And I don't think folks realize, A, the control, and B, how it was taken away from you. And that's where those folks call in and get bothered and say to us, man, why don't y'all calm down, man? Why don't you leave these people alone? Because they're gearing up for round 2, my people. And you are that round 2. You're a Mario game and they're hitting you for them coins. And them coins about to come flowing out again. You don't understand how federal dollars work. Federal dollars are set to respond to a problem the state doesn't have to respond to. So every time you create a problem, you need federal dollars to fix it. When those federal dollars come in, how many come to us? So when the North Side Sun says to the Republican people, we got to get John Horn in there, you must be mentally retarded if you think we will ever stop talking about the way we were finagled, straight greased with good oil and Vaseline. Good oil and Vaseline.
Ice Cube.
Foot switched over, went on a world tour with Hartley, ran around, to Sears and everywhere, and then turned around and was like, well, now I'm happy with what happened in my district, Hartley. You on your own there. Everything was rezoned.
Yep. Not to mention, remember they purged the votes?
Purged the votes.
Remember some of y'all couldn't even vote.
Come on.
Yep. Good point, KP.
Now, I went to vote. People went to those areas, talk about there was not one person in the Republican line. Vote for John or Tim. That's what they said. Tim Henderson or John Horn. Those are the only two. Like, at a certain point, Jackson is Stacy from Let the Circle Be Unbroken. You know my favorite book. But I talk about Stacy in the book. He had a coat, a beautiful coat. And a friend made him believe that coat was dirty, ugly. None of the girls would like him in it. Just kept talking about him, dogging him. Then told him I'll buy it for $10 here. I give you $10 for it. It's disgusting. They went to the next big party and his boy had that coat on stunting. And that's what they keep doing in Jackson.
Yep.
Telling us we should be happy for crumbs.
Yep, so when y'all be like, I'm moving to Madison, they clapping their hands.
They love that. Y'all, so some of y'all are so proud of it. I see y'all on Facebook. Y'all just be looking around. Y'all look around online to see if anyone from Jackson's there first. I know y'all scroll through, make sure nobody's there. Oh, that's why I moved too. It was so violent. And you don't know they're just laughing at you. Oh God, go back. Because you pitiful. You got the nerve to brag about running from your problems. And we know why they're there. You think in Madison they don't know that they get a new Jumbotron in every private school every time something happens where you're supposed to get money?
That's where your water.
Come on, man.
That's where your water money go.
Years ago, in the 60s.
Yeah, yes. Come on now. Make it make sense. And I hear some people on the radio try to stop themselves from saying make it make sense. Go on and say it, brother. Ain't nothing going to hurt you. Go on and say make it make sense. I hear some people try to stop to make it, does it make sense? You can say make it make sense. Man, it's all of our slogan, man. I didn't create it. You don't got it. You're not aligned with me just because you say it. Let me just put that out there. You're not aligned with Tarek and KP just because you say the phrase make it make sense. But let me tell you, we're going to be back tomorrow. And one thing that I guarantee you people, and I hope, to our supporters, thank you for reinforcing us. We don't need it, but it helps us keep going. No, I said that wrong. We're going to do it either way, but we do need it because it gives us relief that we need. We know something is wrong. There's a song that gets sang by Miss Pat at the beginning of the Poor People's Campaign when they did it here, and it was huge in front of the governor's mansion. And someone's hurting my people, and it's been going on for far too long. And that song always brings me very close to tears, if not 2 tears. I have no problem saying that at all. And that's what I feel. And go listen to it if you can pull it up on YouTube to her singing it. She's right here from Mississippi. And when she starts singing that Someone's Hurting My People, man, let me tell you something. There's not a price you can pay me. Not $250, not $300,000, and some of you Negroes giving it up for $2,000. Cheap and easy. But there's not a price you can pay me to be one of those people hurting my people for $1.
Know that for a fact.
And my father always told me, if you know the truth and you don't speak it, it's the same as lying. So please, if you hear me, if you work for one of these organizations and you know what's happening, and you continue to sit by and allow the narrative to say our youth are the problem, you're an accessory to a crime. And I pray to God you get charged accordingly in history. That's how we're going to land that plane. I just pray. That's what I pray for, retribution and progress.
Remind them about the forum online, please.
Yes, so remember the form, and to my customer, my resident, I got so much talk, I was back in my management day. To my resident that had that $1,000 bill, we're going to give you a call and talk about some different resources that we know are available. Also, tomorrow morning at the beginning of the show, if you know any people that are hurting for food, we're going to start reading out all resources at the beginning of every show, and we're going to put them online starting tomorrow. So we have another show back tomorrow. We'll read the resources at the beginning, and then every show we'll do it the same way. Go online, It Make Sense JXN. We have a water form. You heard this whole show. On that form, it will let you click off everything you've done. You've got to make sure you actually said to the company, I'm disputing that past due bill. If you've never said the phrase, I'm disputing that amount, you're not disputing anything. You just are not paying your bill. Any questions? That's my background. Ask me. I'll find it. If I don't have it, we'll get back to you. So until tomorrow, same time, same place, for Make It Make Sense JXN, I'm your host, Tariq Abdul Tawab. For my co-host,
Keanu Perry.
see you next time, guys. Make it make sense.